punching power. That was a round in which...
Sorry about that. We're starting in 3 minutes. I forgot I got to go get some ice. We're starting in 3 minutes. right, let's start right here. My bad.
The Gale against Caleb Truax in London on December the 9th for the IBF Super Middleweight title. So those are the three judges, Jim.
And you saw there was a nasty moment in Lemieux's corner, and now Saunders tries to put his arms around Lemieux, and Lemieux seems somewhat uninterested in the discussion. And now Michael Buffer has the scores in hand and the suspense for...
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to hang out for like the next hour or so. So, you know, for the people who are new, when you do a live stream, right, like this is all live, you can't just start the live stream just talking. So you want to wait about 10 minutes or so. Now we've been live for 10 minutes, but normally they'll be about, the first 10 minutes will be about, you know, bullshitting around, basically gathering a crowd, whatever the case may be. So we're going to talk about Saunders versus Lemieux. You know, we're going to talk about how the fight went, as we talked about all week. We did about, what, 6 hours plus worth of videos this week on the channel, talking about if Billy Joe Saunders was to win, he was going to win that exact same way he looked tonight. But we were wondering if he was going to look impressive, and he has looked impressive. Now, I've been reading a lot of social media trying to, you know, like decipher what's been going on and everything, and people not giving him credit. It's crazy. But let's watch the post-fight interview. I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. Please subscribe. I cover every single major fight live. Yeah, let's go.
Did somebody find a way to give a round to Lemieux? I suspect not, but we'll see.
After 12 rounds of middleweight championship boxing, we go to the scorecards. Benoit Roussel scores at 120 to 108. Gerardo Martinez 117 to 111. And Phil Edwards 118 to 110. All three scorecards to the winner by unanimous decision. And still WBO Middleweight Champion of the World, still undefeated, the superb Billy Joe Saunders.
Well, in case you ever wondered about the concept of the courtesy round and what it was, there you have it. One judge finding 3 rounds to give to Lemieux, another judge finding 2 to give to Lemieux. Harold Letterman couldn't find one. The third judge couldn't find one. I personally didn't see one. Let's take a look at CompuBox numbers and see what they tell us about David Lemieux against Billy Joe Saunders. Saunders lands 98 more, throws 74 more, doubles David Lemieux's connect percentage. And even when Lemieux made contact, it wasn't solid contact. No, swiping, scraping type contact. Total power punches. Saunders lands 62, and they were crunching, straightforward, hard power punches. Lemieux 55 out of 236 for 23%. Saunders' percentage is 41% in the power punch category. Jabs, and this is all Billy Joe Saunders. 103 out of 279, 37% is a very high connect percentage with the jab. If you're landing 37% of your jabs, you're one of the most effective jabbers in boxing. It's as simple as that. And now here's Max Kellerman standing by with Billy Joe.
Congratulations, Billy Joe. That was a master class in boxing from the very first moment of the first round. How did you do it?
First of all, I just want to say a big, big thank you to Adam and Chad for looking after me in Toronto. And also a big, big thank you to Eye of the Tiger Promotions. And thank you very much, Montreal, and all you fans for coming out to see me. I know you're booing me because I'll whip your fighter's ass, but you know, that's boxing. I'd like to thank my promoter, Frank Warren. And
all right, we got the thank yous, but how'd you do it? From the very first moment of the first round, it was a no contest. Why was that?
Because I know what sort of fighter David Lemieux is. I know what sort of coach he's got. I knew what he was coming for. I look easy to hit. I look easy to hurt. I look easy to put down. I look like I run out of gas. But you can't hit me. If David land 4 shots on me in the old fight, and he's a world champion, beat him with the best, I like to come in someone's backyard because I perform better. This time last year, I was an absolute disgrace in Scotland, and I'd never ever jump in the ring again, a performance like that. And that's down to one man and one man only, Dominic Ingle from Sheffield. If it wasn't for him, my boxing career would be finished and over. So, down to that man, I'm moving like that. Don't forget, he's trained Nazim, he's trained all of them. I go in there, and I took to each style of training like a duck to water. I knew the very first day, I was excited to get in the ring. I wouldn't have come over here if I thought I was going to get beat. You know what I mean? So,
and that was, you have continued to improve as a pro. And we heard Dominic yelling at you around the 7th or 8th round. He really wanted you to start putting it on David Lemieux. You painted the canvas with his blood here, and at a certain point looked like maybe you could get the stoppage. Did it occur to you that did you want to get the stoppage?
I'm an old different animal now. When I hurt David, I wanted to put it on him. I really did want to put it on him. But that's what I paid Dominic Ingle to do. I went to put it on him, and he was screaming, take your time, don't. And to be fair, it was the best advice, because then I picked, poked, prodded him, and then I just lost him.
Okay, the point of all this seems to be in your debut in North America. Can this guy, if he actually wins and he beats Lemieux, could he do so in a way that makes fight fans think, I don't know who would win, him or Triple G. I don't know who would win, him or Canelo, Danny Jacobs, Andrade. And the answer ringside is, you did it. We don't know. Is that the point?
Well, what I want to say, I've beaten enough dog meat now. Golovkin, you keep saying you want my WBO belt when I was 14 stone out of shape and wasn't in love with boxing. Then you wanted to fight me. Fight me now. Now fight me. We'll see a different story. You'll be punching fresh air. That's it. Thank you to HBO for having me. Merry Christmas, everyone. God bless. And thank you, everybody, for coming out to watch me. Thank you, Frank Ryan and BT Sport. Yup, UK.
Thanks, Billy Joe. Great performance. David, what happened tonight?
I wasn't at my best, you know. Yeah, hats up to Billy Joe, but as of the second round, my left hand, I can.
He didn't quit though. He hurt his left hand, but he ain't quit.
Didn't use it the way I wanted to, and you know, he was on the run, so I had a little bit difficulties throwing my shots, so. I gotta say it wasn't my best night, but...
How much of that was because of Billy Joe Saunders? It seemed to us ringside, right from the opening bell, a lot of it was because of him.
Well, a lot of it, no, I think a lot of it was because of me. I didn't do it what I could have done. I couldn't use my left hand the way I wanted to, and this was the result. And, you know, he was running away from the first round till the end. I guess that's a strategy to win, to run away from fighters instead of fighting. So, you know what, if this is the way you want to win, then, hey, congratulations.
Okay, thank you, David. Jim?
I don't know about you, Roy, but I think...
You know, he didn't quit like Rigo, though. He said he hurt his left hand. You know, I don't like when boxers say that, you know, he ran away and everything like that. You know, and usually I think you can equate that to like casual fans when they say, he just was running. So you're saying that he should be a different fighter than he's always been to get to this point where he is today and change who he is and go out there and try to get hit or stand there to get hit? What are you saying when you say fighters are running? You know, he put on what is called a master class over there in the UK performance. He cleanly dominated David Lemieux. Here's a little something we're going to do. This is from my DVR. How much you want to bet that I can randomly click at some point, see this little red dot line down here? At some point during the fight, and you'll see, you know, at least 1 minute of Billy Joe Saunders just outboxing and schooling David Lemieux. He won every single round. I was very interested to hear the scorecards because I was like, watch, they're going to find some type of rounds to give to David Lemieux. So how much you want to bet that I can click anywhere down here on this little red, you know, and it's going to be just at least a minute of Billy Joe Saunders schooling David Lemieux. Here, let's try it. Let's go. Let's just click right here. Let's see. We don't know what round it is. Round 10. No, that's not enough of a minute. There's 22 seconds. We got to go another random spot. Let's go right here. Let's go right here. Not enough. That's 0.4 seconds. Okay. Start around 6. Let's see what happens. We're only going to watch 1 minute of it. And I guarantee you, we just did this randomly. It's going to be at least 1 minute of Billy Joe Saunders schooling him.
So far in the fight, Another day at the office for Billy Joe Saunders. Total punches tonight, he's landing 11 or 13 out of 38 per round. Last 6 fights, he averaged 11 of 39 per round. So he's doing against Lemieux basically what he's done in terms of punch output and landed punches against all of his other opponents. You heard Mark Ramsey saying that he wanted Lemieux to counter faster and most especially try to make his left hook a factor in the fight.
See, right there's when he got to take that gamble, Jim. He's not taking that gamble when Billy Joe throws the left hand. If you're going to hit Billy, you got to hit him when he's trying to hit you. If you don't, you're not going to hit him because he has very good feet and he keeps his hands high.
Now Lemieux begins to operate a little bit within the confines of what Ramsey wanted him to do. And he gets a right hand to the body. Good shot.
Okay, so now we see, well, let's get a little better little thumbnail. Now we see, now that was a random minute of the fight I just picked, where we saw Billy Joe Saunders, A, using the ring, using the movement, B, using the jab effectively, and C, when David Lemieux would get close on the inside and fire off at least one punch, he would tie him up. Referee set him. You know, so what type of, that's just like when an actor is typecast, right? When, you got a guy like Rob Schneider, the American fucking Gigolo, Deuce Bigalow, Mel Gigolo, where he was playing like all these different roles of the same, motherfucker. For example, even the way from Philly, Kevin Hart got something similar, even though on a bigger scale going on, where like every movie he's in, he's screaming and, David Lemieux is typecast as a one-dimensional fighter that if you got a nice jab, and you can and you can neutralize his aggression from the beginning, then he don't have nothing else to give you. He don't like the jab. That's clear. This is now the 4th loss of his career. Can you hear Roy's post-fight analysis? We can probably do it. I got kind of like, you got a little bit of leeway with this stuff, just a little bit, so I try to do my best. That's why I got to do this every now and then, because people don't understand. They get pissed. They say, why do you keep cutting the footage to go to the FBI? Listen, if I didn't do that, we wouldn't have any footage. We wouldn't be able to watch none of this shit. So y'all need to just take what y'all get. I'm trying my best to give you the most that I can, legally. You know what I'm saying? So just chill. Yeah, we can go check out the post-fight analysis. But now there's an argument going on that, oh, shit, Billy Joe could probably beat Canelo, or Billy Joe can probably beat Golovkin. That's the argument now. That's the story. He has now officially announced himself in the 160-pound division. Yeah, he's been a champion for just about 2 years, almost 2 years. He fought Andy Lee December the 19th of 2015. Whatever, it was December 2015. And now this is his 4th fight, 4th title defense, or is it 3rd? You know what I'm saying? He fought Akavov, Willie Monroe. Am I missing a fight? Let's go look. I'm tired. I'm late. Let's go look at it. Where's it at? Here we are. Let's go look at it. So the point I'm trying to make is you have him taking 2 fights in 3 months, and he said if he didn't take this fight in Canada, that it wouldn't have been until the beginning of, until after the new year. So he wanted to get 2 fights in 2017, so he fought Willie Monroe, which was supposed to be an entertaining fight to the hardcore fans. Willie Monroe, didn't show up, and then he's fighting David Lemieux, 3 months after that, and putting on a performance like this. So what does that tell you? That if he's in his best shape and he's doing what he's supposed to be doing in the gym, then he's a problem for a lot of boxers, period. Like, he's been good. It's just that he's had some roadblocks like boxers do. So he did what he was supposed to do overseas. He for casual fans or for hardcore fans who didn't know who he was and they watch HBO tonight, he put on a good performance, and he's got people like, oh shit, he can, hang with Golovkin. He could hang with Canelo. He did everything he was supposed to do tonight. You know what I'm saying? He did everything he was supposed to do. Let me go here. Which one is it? This one. He did what he was supposed to do. You see what I'm saying? 26-0 with 12 KOs. David Lemieux. Now, this is when he won the title right here, Andy Lee. Okay, December the 19th, 2015. Then he fought Wolverine, Artur Akavov, Willie Monroe, then David Lemieux. So, you know, in reality, even though he's had 3 fights in just under 2 years, that's not enough. He's had these layoffs. You know, for example, he had this layoff right here between Andy Lee, almost 1 year, and Artur Akavov. Then he had a 9-month layoff between Willie Monroe. And then, you know, he said he wanted to get 2 fights in this year. And then 3 months later, as you can see, the 16th and 16th, you know, he fought David Lemieux, and he shined. You know, new trainer and everything, you know. So you got to give him props now, because this was the stage where people were like, okay, David Lemieux is going to knock his head off. David Lemieux is going to kill him. And, you know, he outboxed him. You know? He did what he was supposed to do on foreign soil. When people have been saying he's a Euro bum, people have been saying he's a Euro bum holding the belt hostage. You know, I have you know, I've been following this guy since he fought a guy by the name of Tony Hill. I thought it was in 2011, but it was in 2012 when he fought Tony Hill. Let me show you. It was in 2012 when he, hold on, I'm going to put the replay back up. So I've covered all of these fights on YouTube, all of these. I did videos on all of these on this channel and the other one ever since this fight right here. It's crazy. So when you see a fighter come up like this, you know, but it goes both ways. Like, for example, I've seen Adrian Broner come up in all of his fights. Many of them live doing videos like this. I've seen Billy Joe Saunders fight. So to see him, you know, doing this good, you have people saying that he didn't look, you have people saying that he should have looked better. You know, and I'm thinking to myself, how much more better could he have looked? I mean, like, dude was great tonight. He didn't put on, you know, a good performance. He put on a great performance, you know. David Lemieux couldn't do nothing. He didn't gas out. He kept moving 12 rounds consistently, and he kept up a high punch value. You know? And then there was times when he decided he would walk him down. He would walk David Lemieux down. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Lemieux, you know, it's a shame to say. Oh, I got to do this now. It's a shame to say, but David Lemieux is, you know, on a championship scale at 160 pounds, you know, it's safe to say that, what was I doing? Oh, he's, gatekeeper level now? Can you say David Lemieux is a gatekeeper, a holder of the keys? You beat David Lemieux, you know, it's like, because right now, I don't see him in this landscape of being a champion. You know, nobody wants to see him versus Golovkin again. He's not going to beat Canelo. Canelo will likely stop him. Jamal Charlo, yeah. You know, and I'm talking about, do people want to, you know, like, it's not a fight likely David Lemieux would take. Don't get me wrong. He's a good show fighter leading up to when he does get a title shot. But once he gets there on world level, he's not that great. And Billy Joe Saunders said it. You know, hold on. I got to do one thing. In the meantime, what am I going to do? Okay, this is what we can do. I'll be right back. You know, we're going to take a little small break, but in the meantime, we're going to play a bit of relevant content. Shout out to big homie Manny Montreal, who supplied us with some very, very good footage. I wasn't able to get all of it up. You know, my body kind of crashed. It's been a long week. He's probably at the post-fight press conference right now. If I can get my hands on a post-fight press conference, we will be watching it. So watch this in the meantime. It's only about 3 or 4 minutes long, but you're going to hear Billy Joe, you know, saying the things that we were, you know, like we were talking about. And once again, I did like 7 hours of videos on this subject this week. You know, maybe more. I don't remember. This was before the fight. Now listen to this, and I'll be right back. Please subscribe.
Now, Billy Joe Saunders, We'd like to hear what you have to say before Saturday night.
First of all, I just want to thank HBO, Frank Warren Promotions, my management, MTK, and the full team, everyone flying out, and thanks to obviously all the fans who spending our money to watch this showdown on Saturday. Now, this is you know, boxer versus puncher, but you know, I've been in the ring 25 times now. 6 or 7 of them I've been the underdog big time. Eubank, every single one of them I've boxed on 60% into boxing. Anybody will tell you. And when you don't love boxing, when you're not in love with the game and you're still winning, and you sit back and you go home and you think, how did I get through that? How did I win that? But then when you do find your love back for it, and you're around good people working with good people, you feel happy again. There's an old saying, an happy fighter is a dangerous fighter. And I haven't been this happy for, I can't remember being this happy, probably in the amateur days. And for the last 6, 7, 8 months, I've never been so happy. I'm not excited to get in the ring. I just used to be excited to weigh in so I'd go and eat a load of shit. But now I'm excited to get in the ring and put on a classic display. Because not only am I mixing it with a top fighter, but also in front of the likes of the greats of Bernard Hopkins and stuff like that, who I've watched as a kid, and you know, Oscar De La Hoya. So to put in a performance like that, I want the winner, if the rematch happens, of Golovkin or Canelo, or even Canelo. I mean, my management team's here, my promoter's here, my trainer's here. After I deal with David Lemieux Saturday, I'll be happy to sit down with Oscar De La Hoya and sign that fight before I leave the country. But listen, I'm not an idiot. I'm far from an idiot. I know that over I'll have to be on it. There's no switching off. I will be on it from round 1 to whenever it ends. And David, if you are that confident, we'll put £500,000 on it if you want, dollars. My lawyer's over there. That if you beat me, I will let you choose what charity, children's cancer charity, and vice versa, if you're game to do it. Or if you're not getting 500,000, then you know we'll negotiate what purse you are getting. But that relevant in the situation. If you're willing to do that, I'm most definitely willing to do that. That's how confident I'm beating David. You know, David has to come from round one, and try and knock me out, because when he's hitting fresh air, he's got he's very injury prone. Hands, shoulders. As we've seen as a good friend of mine, James DeGale, rushed an injury back, didn't plan out. So what I don't want is from David's team is an excuse. You know, he's a good fighter. He's mixed it with Golovkin at the very elite level. Now Bernard knows about mixing it with elite level because he was an elite fighter himself. Some just aren't good enough. Some's just not good enough, and you was not good enough. Simple. Am I good enough? We'll soon see. In my own heart and mind, I know I can deal with him, and then I want Golovkin and Canelo to see where I really am. But also thanks to Eye of the Tiger management, and I hope everyone has a very, very good night of boxing, and enjoy yourself, because it's going to be a good show. He's very injury.
My bad. I'm back. So yeah, man, it's we were talking about if David Lemieux is a holder of the keys, a gatekeeper, you know. So the next break, we're gonna watch the post-fight interview again from both fighters. David Lemieux made an excuse. He couldn't just say, you know, the better man won. He said it was his hand, but unlike Rigondeaux, he didn't quit. You know, yeah, I went CSI on it. You know, I started, you know, fucking doing a deep investigation on Rigondeaux hand. I'm not going to give David Lemieux, you know, I'm not going to put the money into the system for that. You know, I still want to see Rigondeaux x-rays. I don't care if his manager said it was just a bruise, you know, or severe contusion. You know, I don't care. You know, I want the x-rays. But in this case, David Lemieux, you know, is it safe to say that he is a holder of the keys, you know, the gatekeeper, You know, like, is he like the sub boss, the boss before the boss? You know, the guy you gotta get, the guy you gotta beat to get to the grandmaster and shit. Then if you beat him, you always get like a rare item or something. You know, I just don't see him being a champion. He's a one-dimensional fighter, and also I don't think he can hold his own at 160. I think that you know, in front of a fighter who won't use the ring, in front of a fighter who's having a bad night, in front of a fighter who likes to bullshit around and, you know, chill on the ropes, yeah, David Lemieux will probably fuck you up. But with the issues that we've heard constantly of him making weight, and, you know, you have to say, well, you know, he should be done at 160 because he'll never be a champion there. Should he move to 168? He can't hold his own at 168. He gets slaughtered up there. You know, because the jab is he can't get over the jab. We saw the Hebrew Hammer, Cletus Selden, you know, get taken to school. He was taken to school by Yves Ulysses, I forgot to pronounce his name. Elite at being gatekeeper. Yeah, you know, but it's like it's safe to say, you know, after us, you know, watching all these David Lemieux fights and, you know, knowing that they wanted him to win so they can have that backup plan for Canelo, you know, Billy Joe looked good. His stock has risen. Now he does have bargaining power. Now he didn't have it before. He was considered somewhat of a belt holder, right? Now he's got the bargaining power because he put on a good performance on HBO. HBO would want to bring him back, and he did two good things to boost his marketability as far as in the ring. He schooled David Lemieux while being exciting, you know, while making it look good. It wasn't a boring fight. It was like, oh, you know, Billy Joe whooping his ass, you know, mixing it up, various different punches, using the angles, you know, no excessive hugging. Only the holding he was doing would be when David Lemieux would get too close. He'd fire one punch, you know, and he'd clinch him, tie him up. Billy Joe in previous fights has been known to gas out, slow down later in fights. He didn't. You know, he's been known to, you know, get on the ropes, just like he did with Eubank Jr. and later in the fight. He didn't. This Billy Joe Saunders right here would still beat Chris Eubank Jr., and he would look better doing it, in my opinion. He would look better doing it. You know, you can't say he hasn't gotten better since you've seen him against Eubank Jr. You know, and understanding the level of competition. You know, I'm sorry. Just my personal opinion. Just my personal opinion.
Prone. Hands shot.
One more time for those who didn't see it. One more time for those who didn't see it.
See what they tell us about David Lemieux against Billy Joe Saunders. Saunders lands 90.
Hold on, wait. My bad. There we go. Yeah, right there.
Throws 74 more. Doubles David Lemieux's connect percentage. And even when Lemieux made contact, it wasn't solid contact. No, swiping, scraping type contact. Total power punches. Saunders lands 62, and they were crunching, straightforward, hard power punches. Lemieux 55 out of 236 for 23%. Saunders' percentage is 41% in the power punch category. Jabs, and this is all Billy Joe Saunders. 103 out of 279, 37% is a very high connect percentage with the jab. If you're landing 37% of your jabs, you're one of the most effective jabbers in boxing. It's as simple as that. And now here's Max Kellerman standing by with Billy Joe.
Congratulations, Billy Joe. That was a master class in boxing from the very first moment of the first round. How did you do it?
First of all, I just want to say a big, big thank you to Adam and Chad for looking after me in Toronto. And also a big, big thank you to all the Tiger Promotions. And thank you very much, Montreal, and all you fans for coming out to see me. I know you're booing me because I'll whip your fighter's ass, but, you know, that's boxing. I'd like to thank my promoter, Frank Warren, And
all right, we got the thank yous, but how'd you do it? From the very first moment of the first round, it was a no contest. Why was that?
Because I know what sort of fighter David Lemieux is. I know what sort of coach he's got. I knew what he was coming for. I look easy to hit. I look easy to hurt. I look easy to put down. I look like I run out of gas. But you can't hit me. If David land 4 shots on me in the old fight, and he's a world champion, been in with the best, I like to come in someone's backyard because I perform better. This time last year, I was an absolute disgrace in Scotland, and I'd never ever jump in the ring again, a performance like that. And that's down to one man and one man only, Dominic Ingle from Sheffield. If it wasn't for him, my boxing career would be finished and over. So, down to that man, I'm moving like that. Don't forget, he's trained Nazim, he's trained all of them. I go in there, and I took to each style of training like a duck to water. I knew the very first day, I was excited to get in the ring. I wouldn't have come over here if I thought I was going to get beat. You know what I mean? So,
and that was, you have continued to improve as a pro. And we heard Dominic yelling at you around the 7th or 8th round. He really wanted you to start putting it on David Lemieux. You painted the canvas with his blood here, and at a certain point, looked like maybe you could get the stoppage. Did it occur to you that did you want to get the stoppage?
I'm an old different animal now. When I hurt David, I wanted to put it on him. I really did want to put it on him. But that's what I paid Dominic Ingle to do. I went to put it on him, and he was screaming, take your time, don't. And to be fair, it was the best advice, because then I picked, poked, prodded him, and then I just lost him.
Okay, the point of all this seems to be, in your debut in North America, can this guy, if he actually wins and he beats Lemieux, could he do so in a way that makes fight fans think, I don't know who would win, him or Triple G. I don't know who would win, him or Canelo, Danny Jacobs, Andrade. And the answer ringside is, you did it. We don't know. Is that the point?
Well, what I want to say, I've beaten enough dog meat now. Golovkin, you keep saying you want my WBO belt when I was 14 stone out of shape and wasn't in love with boxing. Then you wanted to fight me. Fight me now. Now fight me. We'll see a different story. You'll be punching fresh air. That's it. Thank you to HBO for having me. Merry Christmas, everyone. God bless. And thank you, everybody, for coming out to watch me. Thank you, Frank Ryan and BT Sport. Yup, UK.
Thanks, Billy Joe.
You'll be
Great
punching
performance.
fresh air, Golovkin.
David, what happened tonight?
I wasn't at my best, you know. Yeah, hats up to Billy Joe, but as of the 2nd round, my left hand, I couldn't use it the way I wanted to, and you know, he was on the run, so I had a little bit difficulties throwing my shots, so I gotta say it wasn't my best night. But
how much of that was because of Billy Joe Saunders? It seemed to us ringside, right from the opening bell, a lot of it was because of him.
Well, a lot of it, no, I think a lot of it was because of me. I didn't do it what I could have done. I couldn't use my left hand the way I wanted to, and this was the result. And, you know, he was running away from the 1st round till the end. I guess that's a strategy to win, to run away from fighters instead of fighting. So, you know what, if this is the way you want to win, then, hey, congratulations.
Okay, thank you, David. Jim? I don't know.
Somebody said they wanted to listen to Roy Jones's post-fight. We got about 17 minutes left, so we could probably stretch it. We've been live for 43 minutes. We could probably stretch this show to an hour, 15 minutes, but no more. But we'll see. Yeah, you know, a lot of people wanted Billy Joe to lose. You know, he had a lot of people really feeling like, you know, the belt, that WBO title was theirs. There's like, he's over in the UK holding that belt, you know, hostage. They're saying Lemieux was going to knock his head off. You know, and I thought about it, and I thought to myself, well, wait a minute, you know, haven't they, you know, watched Billy Joe Saunders fights in the past? When he's on his A game, he's a good boxer, as you've seen tonight. He put on an excellent boxing performance. He had an excellent, you know, endurance, stamina. He moved around the ring for 12 rounds, boxing. You didn't see him drop his hands for extended periods, mouth wide open, leaning on the ropes. None of that. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. But now the question is, can he beat Canelo or Golovkin? The rumors are, or it's been said by many, from Max Kellerman to Eddie Hearn can't really remember. I'm tired. Remember some other names that the fight is kind of done. Canelo versus Golovkin 2 in May. So now it leaves a gap of, okay, well, if that's happening in May, how is Billy Joe Saunders going to fight? Billy Joe Saunders just called out Golovkin, probably understanding that, he can't call out Canelo. He don't have no cards. Golovkin does have the belts, which makes it more lucrative to Billy Joe Saunders. But to Golovkin, he's at the end of his career. He's slowing down. He wants that payday. That's a big payday with Canelo in that rematch. We've seen Golovkin that, now that he's stepped up in competition, Danny Jacobs, who in my opinion, he won, even though it was a very, very, very close fight, and majority opinion feels he won that fight. When it comes to Canelo, it's like this, right? It's like 55-45. Feel that Golovkin did just enough to win, that the first couple of rounds, the first several rounds, he was cautious. He was very, very, very cautious. It almost seemed like he didn't want to go Mexican style, and he didn't want to test, test his chin against Canelo or feel Canelo's power. Then, mid to late fight, when he saw that sense of urgency, he just started walking through Canelo's punches. So imagine in the rematch, if now he comes into the rematch with not respecting his punches, meaning Canelo's not respecting Canelo's power, then it could be a whole different fight, Canelo also can't be on an extended layoff because he has to be in better shape to be able to stay on that bike that he was on against Golovkin. Now, I don't like when fans say fighters are running because this is not a sport where you want to continue to take shots. And I don't like when boxers who know better, and it's usually pressure fighters who say, well, all he did was run. That's not who he – truth be told, I shouldn't waste any time talking about it. Now, there is a situation where fighters move too much to the point where that should be excessive and they just don't want to engage, or they're engaged when they want to. Then that it's a slippery slope, and it's a thin line between like running, and using a high and having a high ring IQ. It's a big difference, It's a big difference. So you have a guy like Canelo, who has become a better boxer over the years. And we saw in the Golovkin fight that he can really move around that ring if he wants to, but does have a bit of trouble fighting off the back foot, and he does fight in bursts. He had to pour everything out of his bag that night. So all I'm saying is that in the rematch, now that we know that Golovkin can take Canelo's power, what if he comes into round 1 like it's round 13? And like, okay, I took the best you had to take, so now I'm going to come in here and try to demolish you. This Canelo versus Golovkin 2 fight is a very, very big fight. But the thing is, Billy Joe Saunders is on the outside looking in, even though he has that title. And he did what he had to do, in so many ways, from the inside of the ring to the promotional end, because he had put on a good performance on HBO where he was being showcased to the world and to HBO. American fans and, of course, UK fans, against a fighter that, he wasn't the favorite to win. From my understanding, or, he had a lot of people against him in this fight. So it was entertaining. It was a sold-out crowd. He made the right decision of going up there to Canada for it. So, I don't know how long this is going to be, man, so I don't want to be here all night. Let's see how long they're going to talk.
Roy, but I think he could have had plaster of Paris in his left glove, and it wouldn't have made the slightest bit of difference.
No, it wouldn't have made a difference, because in a fight like this, the guy he did his homework. He realizes that to beat a puncher, you got to box him. He's known as a boxer anyway. Not to mention that he's just a boxer, but he's a southpaw boxer who makes it extra difficult for a guy who's a puncher to land that one big punch. So we knew tonight that David Lemieux was coming to land one big punch to get a knockout blow, and if Saunders boxed, it was probable that that wasn't going to happen.
Let's talk about the top 3 middleweights on this side of the pond. Andrade, Golovkin, Canelo Alvarez. I'll throw in Daniel Jacobs. Do any of the 3 have a style that would present particular problems for Billy Joe Saunders?
Yes, 2 out of the 3 do. Number one is Danny Jacobs, because he has quicker hands and he has very good feet. You have to have very good feet to keep up with Billy Joe in order to be able to punch him. Canelo will too, but Canelo is smaller because he just came up to the division, so he's the least likely one. Triple G is willing to let Billy Joe hit him to land his punch, and that's probably the guy that's going to take to really catch up with Billy Joe, because if you're not willing to let him get close enough to hit you, you're not ever going to hit him.
Great stuff. And another brilliant night from our World Championship boxing analyst, Roy Jones. Meanwhile, this is the last of our HBO boxing telecast for the year 2017. Virtually every boxing critic agrees this has been a terrific year in the sport. Certainly it sets up some big things for next year. Front and center, of course, the rematch between Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin, which we are hoping and expecting might take place as early as May of 2018. But there are many other treats coming your way in HBO boxing in 2018.
Well,
we look forward to having you there with us for all of them. Thanks very much. Happy holidays and happy New Year.
See if they show any promos.
Mark your calendars for the following HBO sports programs. If you missed Real Sports year-end episode, you can see it again next week. The final week of December kicks off with our TFG year-end special, followed by HBO's Boxing's Best of 2017. Next year, we begin with a doubleheader headlined by Lucas Matisse and Jorge Linares. And then in February, the headliner has Srisaket Soranvisai against Juan Francisco Estrada. Meanwhile, a reminder that coming up next, it's a replay of this week's episode of my show, The Fight Game. And as we leave you for the last time in 2017, we'd like to acknowledge all the women and men who have worked so hard to make HBO's boxing telecasts the best in the business. For Roy Jones, Max Kellerman, and Harold Letterman, I'm Jim Lampley, saying thank you and see you next year.
Yeah, it has been a crazy. It has been a crazy year. You know, poor Chocolatito got knocked out. Remember, he was down on the ground, he was looking like he was just making all this noise, like he was in some real intense pain. You know, but yeah, I agree with Roy Jones. Billy Joe Saunders has established himself now on HBO and to fans who watch tonight as a boxer mover that's not boring, correct? So when you look at Danny Jacobs, him versus Danny Jacobs, I would love to see next. It makes so much sense, right? And if Danny Jacobs wants to get it, but there's a promotional issue with that fight. Danny Jacobs is Eddie Hearn, and Billy Joe Saunders is Frank Warren. If you don't know, it's a bit of a Cold War network war going on over there in the UK for American fans, where Frank Warren, Boxnation, BT Sport, their fighters don't fight on a large scale, smaller fighters, but on a scale like this, Frank Warren, BT Sports, Boxnation fighters don't fight Sky Sports, Eddie Hearn fighters. You know, so politically, it's just don't seem that it can happen. Now, as far as Billy Joe Saunders versus Jamal Charlo. Now, when you're a champion, as I explained earlier, in this day and age, in this era, to be undisputed champion, you have to have the WBC, the WBA, the IBF, and the WBO titles. Golovkin has 3 of them. He's fighting Canelo, likely in May. And then Billy Joe Saunders, the WBO. So when you're a champion, you have to fight somebody in the top 15. Let's go look at the WBO rankings really quick. We're going to extend the show to 1 hour 15 minutes. I don't like the 1 hour. I don't want to go an hour and a half though. We'll see. We've been live for 54 minutes. So let's see how long this takes us. Please subscribe. All links to my social media right down below in the description box. This shit is bright. I'm tired of shit. So we're going to talk about who Billy Joe Saunders will likely or could possibly fight next. Let's see. Here, let me pull this up over here. Let me be on full screen. Can y'all see that? Jesus, why they make you do all this to get the rankings? That's why I got to get my website together. which will be together. I'm going to do it on Christmas Day. December. Jesus. Make you fill out an application to see their rankings. Wonder why my stuff is slowing down. Hold on 1 minute. I'm having some technical difficulties. Restart my computer before I start. But anyway, what we're doing is we're looking at the WBO rankings. We're looking at who Billy Joe Saunders could possibly fight next. Oh, it's not up yet. So let's see. So let's go for WBO 2017 month, November, category middleweight search. Okay, we're good. Okay, so as you can see, Billy Joe Saunders is the WBO champion. Canelo is the mandatory for Billy Joe Saunders in regards to the WBO. Let me zoom in some more. In regards to the WBO, David Lemieux just was defeated tonight. You have Demetrius Andrade, who's number 3. Now, like I said, because of this promotional thing that Billy Joe Saunders and Danny Jacobs' promoter, Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn have, don't expect to see that fight. I just don't see it. You know, Danny Jacobs wasn't in attendance tonight, but yet Demetrius Andrade was, as he should have been. You know, Billy Joe Saunders versus Demetrius Andrade makes some sense to American hardcore fans, and it would appease them for Billy Joe Saunders to fight Willie Monroe, David Lemieux, and then Demetrius Andrade. So even though you have Danny Jacobs ranked number 4, don't expect that. Now you have Jamal Charlo, who's going to be fighting, or supposed to be fighting, Hugo Centeno for the WBC Interim. But what if Jamal Charlo decides to go to Billy Joe Saunders' route, because Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn, the manager of advisor Al Heyman of Jamal Charlo, and Frank Warren are working together. You know, they've been putting on shows together, you know, with James DeGale, you know, Carl Frampton, you know, and they're likely going to be doing more. So, you know, Lee Selby, and those are Al Heyman fighters. So I can see this somewhat happening, you know, but would it have to happen on HBO? You know, because I'm sure that HBO is going to be throwing money at Billy Joe Saunders now. So not only could it be signed with Frank Warren, I think this fight is going to likely get him signed up with HBO too. You know, and if you look at the other top 15, remember, he has to fight somebody in his top 15. So he really doesn't want to take a step back. He wants to keep the momentum going. You know, he's got to fight one of these names to defend his title. So who would you want to see him against? You know, let's go through these names, right? Remember, Canelo will likely be fighting Golovkin. You got David Lemieux, who just lost. You got Demetrius Andrade, right, who's there. You got Daniel Jacobs. You can strike him out because of that promotional thing I was telling you about. You got Jamal Charlo that can happen. You got Walter Coutan Dukwo from Africa. You got Francis Lafreniere, Canadian. Antoine Douglas, whose career is in question. He lost tonight in a very sad fight. You got this guy who's supposed to be fighting Venice Martirosyan for the next WBC mandatory, so you can kind of strike him out. You got Martin Murray, you know, he's a Sky Sports Eddie Hearn fighter. And come on, do you want to see Billy Joe Saunders versus Martin Murray? Luis Arias, who's lost in his last fight to Danny Jacobs. Hugo Centeno Jr., who's heavily been rumored to fight Jamal Charlo, you know, for that WBC Interim, unless Jamal Charlo decides to go after Billy Joe Saunders. You got Tommy Langford. Nobody wants to see that. And haven't they fought before? I don't remember. If Billy Joe, I'm pretty sure he did. I don't remember, man. It's late. And then number 14, Conrad Cummings. What? And then Rafael Bergeron. So who do you want to see him fight? You know, and remember, you have to think it has to be either one of these, Canelo or Golovkin. Do you think that Jamal Charlo's going to swoop in? You think that Al Heyman's going to try to do it? I got bit by something and some swelling. I don't know what that was. I don't know where I was at. Seems to me a good fight would be more of a watch than he. I mean, I'm thinking that he should go Jamal Charlo. You know, because if he can, you know, outbox a Jamal Charlo, you know, Jamal Charlo's got some power behind him. That would get a lot of people behind him if he was to get a big win like that. That would get a lot of people behind him. You know? I got bit by the truth. You know, I was in the market. This was like 3 days ago, and I felt it. And I'm thinking, like, what is this? You know, but I got these 2 big bumps right here on my, I don't know if I can see it. See, my arms all burnt up and scarred up. Billy Joe getting a win over Andrade Charlo will make, yeah, but his stock has grown a lot from this David Lemieux win. But the biggest issue is he can't have one of those, Frank Warren is known for one of those I'm coming home fights where it's just like, you know, well, you know, he defended his title, went away from home to Canada. Now he's going to be home, you know, fighting, let me see, Francis Lafreniere, number 7, ranked by the WBO. He's got to keep that momentum going. In my opinion, it's looking like he's not going to get Canelo or Golovkin, so it's got to be Andrade or Charlo. I'm sorry, you know, for the political reasons, it's not going to be Danny Jacobs, Andrade or Charlo. It would make his stock grow. The Andrade fight would be easy to make unless Andrade want to play, you know, Andrade has no choice, you know, but to take this fight in his opinion. Yeah, I understand he don't want to get lowballed and everything, you know, but he can't afford to walk away from any more fights, you know, for whatever reasons. Yeah, see, that's the thing. You know, who said that Harry Dunn podcast? Frank Warren is going to want a soft home fight. Yeah, we don't want that. He can't. That's not a good route to go. You know, especially since Billy Joe's looking so good, you got to keep that shit going. You know, got to keep that shit going. You know, it's going to be a bad move. Let's go look at a little bit of Andrade's last win. We're going to push the show to 1 hour, 30 minutes. So we got 27 minutes left. I got a little extra burst of energy. We can't go 2 hours, though. We can't do that. Let me see. Please subscribe. I cover every single major fight live. I'm going to be working today. I was going to say tomorrow. I had a little nap earlier, but it wasn't enough. I haven't been getting a lot of sleep. I got a lot of year-end deadlines to make, you know, business-wise, and to make sure we're giving you guys the best possible, you know, product. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on, see if I can find you guys some highlights. See if I can find you guys about 1 minute of highlights.
To watch Canadian knockout artist David Lemieux trying to lift a middleweight title from Billy Joe Saunders of Great Britain. And so far, with 40 seconds left in this 10th round, it's been all Saunders. He has swamped David Lemieux so far with boxing skill, mastery of distance, the ability to land repeatedly with his jab, straight left hand, bloodied Lemieux's nose in the middle portion of the fight, and Lemieux simply hasn't been able to get any.
No, I played the wrong part. Give me 1 minute. Here we go. This is what I wanted. This was Andrade's last fight.
Let's go bang at the ball. God bless. Punch out. Go there. 4. How you doing? 5. 6. He hit you, man. 7. Hey, come on.
he was getting a lot of heat for moving to 160 and not fighting Lara. I got a chance to talk to him like earlier this year. I don't remember the exact date. And he was like, the whole Erislandy Lara thing is dead. So this was his first fight officially announcing himself as a full-time 160-pound fighter, leaving the 154-pound division. So he fought Atlantes Fox the end of October, basically. And this fight was to get him, you know, a ranking in the 160-pound division. Now you see that he's ranked by the WBO and the WBA. I'm not sure about the WBC. Just so happened the guy he fought, Atlantes Fox, had a shoulder injury. He posted all that stuff on social media after Rigondeaux had quit and said, look, I had a torn rotator cuff or something. Something was wrong with his shoulder, I think is what he said. And I didn't quit. So he was one of the many fighters to be like, yo, I fought in fights through injuries, but I didn't quit. You know? So, in my opinion, it's between, from everything we've looked at, everything we talked about, it's going to be between him, or it should be between him and Jamal Charlo. You know, if they're going to get, you know, as far as fans concerned, Billy Joe Saunders. And the fight will likely have to take place overseas. And like somebody said in the chat, we don't want to see no bullshit, I'm coming home, fight from Billy Joe Saunders. You know, where it's going to be like he's fighting somebody in the top 15. This is his coming home fight, you know, and no, you know, he's got to keep that ball rolling, especially when he's got HBO behind his back and he's got new fans watching him now. That's what they forget. He got new fans watching him now, so they got to keep this ball rolling and get him in a good fight enough where HBO will pick it up. You know, that's how you build stars. You got to keep that momentum going. You know, he's in the deep end now. He's a champion, been a champion for 2 years. You know? Been a champion for 2 years. You know, yeah, people may say the Chris Eubank Jr. fight again, you know, but I don't think he should go. I mean, Eubank's in a tournament right now. Eubank's either going to win and be a champion or lose. So you can't count that fight. You can't count that fight. You know, Billy Joe's a reigning 160-pound champion, and he looked like he's going to be at 160 for quite some time. We're going to be live for another 22 minutes, so we got some time to talk about some things, you know? We've already analyzed and talked about the post-fight interview. Let me see if we can get the post-fight press conference. You know, I don't know if I should play it one more time. I don't feel like it. In fact, what we're going to do is we're going to take one final break. You know, I hope you guys are cool with that. You truthfully, I'm sorry, you don't have a choice but to be cool with that. Because I got to go, you know, take a little break, go to the bathroom. So in the meantime, I got my hands on a whole bunch of instrumentals and everything, copyright free. You know, so this is just random stuff that I have now. But as time goes on, we're going to get a little, you know, we're going to get not a little, we're going to get a lot better. So in the meantime, relax. I'll be right back. Please subscribe. My bad. That was a mistake. I need 2 more minutes. I'm trying to see if I can get more time because this is likely going to be my last. It might be my last live video for a little while I fix up some things on the channel. But in the meantime, what I'm trying to do now is extend the time of the show because I want to talk about Canelo versus Golovkin more. But whatever, I need like 2 minutes. I'll be right back. Back. I'm gonna be here for a little while longer. So yeah, I expect it to begin. I expect for every time Billy Joe Saunders to do interviews now, expect for him to talk about how he's put on such a great performance and how, you know, Canelo or Golovkin should fight him next. And I think he's looked good enough, you know, like he has looked good enough to be able to put his name into that argument. You know, the Willie Monroe Jr. fight wasn't enough. The Artur Akavov fight, he didn't look good. You know, he acknowledged that. In fact, you know, that's what we can watch and talk about. Let's see if we can get his interview.
Well, Billy was straight away in the ring apologizing to the crowd for his performance.
Now, he did not look good this night at all. This was the night when people were watching this fight in high anticipation because there's like, damn, he hasn't fought since he fought Andy Lee and won the title. So this was a fight where a lot of fans were watching and a lot of media was looking like, okay, let's see how good he looks. And he looked like shit. So this is the post-fight interview from then. Now listen how he was talking then and pay attention on how he's going to be talking in the future, just like how he talked in the post-fight interview.
Billy, at halfway, we had you behind.
Yeah, listen, there was nothing there. I've been out a year, a bit overweight, coming down. You know, a few adjustments to camp. Just flat, really, really flat. You know, I just didn't know what it was. I felt sharp on the pads, but I just got in there tonight, and from round one, I was throwing the jab, and it was like my arms on springs. It wasn't going out, it was coming back. I was thinking, liven up a little bit. He kept coming through with a couple of body shots. Slowed me down a little bit, but just nothing at all there, really. And to be honest with you, I'm not running him down because he's come over it, but he shouldn't be going 6-7 rounds with me at all. I'd like to apologise for the fans, especially who's paid for it. Terrible performance. I've called Golovkin out, but on that performance, I want to be embarrassed. I've got to go back, adjust proper, and New Year, I want a big fight to put that right, because that's not...
You can hear it. You know what I'm saying? And the volume is low. It's the video. It's not me. You know, so just relax. Enjoy it.
Acceptable for my performance. That's not a world championship.
I can hear it. I'm watching the same video.
So you're saying that there's no way on the back of that you can be saying, come on, give me Golovkin, you need another one first?
This is... I'm an honest man. Most British fighters perform better than that. There's more undercard fights tonight will put a better performance into that, and I didn't even watch the undercard. That was terrible. But, listen... A win's a win. No matter how you win, I always find a way. I always said that. I will find a way. Whether I'm getting beat 11 rounds, I will find a way to get a win. It was a scrappy win. But, you know, that's what happens.
Bill, I have to ask you about Jimmy Tibbs, the fact that he's not here tonight. And he has been here right the way through your career until now. There are going to be those out there who say, well, if you get rid of somebody of that standard with that experience, that's what happens.
Yeah, most definitely. Look. You know, in boxing, you've got to do sometimes what you feel right's yourself. It may not be the right decision, it may be the right decision, but if you feel that yourself to make that adjustment, I mean, I'm not making no comment on Jimmy because I've got to go back, when I go back after this fight, sit down, we've got to have a chat. But, you know, I'll sit down with him man to man and we'll go
I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but, you know, I mean, it's the obvious thing to be saying.
Listen, it don't matter if I've got Jimmy Tibbs, Freddie Roach, you bring anybody you want back here, but Roberto Duran, that ain't going to help me in the corner tonight. It was just a dead performance from me. A dead performance. That's all I can put it to.
Francis, you're in the team who are going to be putting together where Billy goes from.
Now, there's really no need to watch any more of that, but that was his performance. When was that fight? I think it was in September. Let's see. But he didn't look good. You know, and this was the fight where fans started turning against him, saying he was what they call a Euro bum. Now, obviously, you know, in my profession, what we do, we don't call fighters bums. But, you know, you have to understand where the fans were coming from. Now, I knew that the guy had potential, you know, but as many people feel with many fighters who turn out not to be good, but in this case, tonight, he shined. You know, shined. You know, so this is the fight where he did that post-fight interview against Artur Akavov. As you can see, it was nearly a year, you know, since he had won the title from Andy Lee. He comes back and looks like shit. Meanwhile, Canelo was in the division and Golovkin is dominating. I interviewed Oscar De La Hoya shortly after this Akavov fight, which was like the Monday after, and he had confirmed they were in talks with Billy Joe Saunders and that they were going to be cutting the deal in half. Now, what I'm going to do is, I think it's only like a minute or so long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play that really quickly so you can see where I'm going with this. Oh, wait, fast forward. That usually scares people.
WBO 160-pound champion, he didn't look so good. Now, he's been throwing Canelo's name out there a lot in the media, talking about a possible fight in 2017. But after Saturday's performance, now he's saying that he wants to fight his two mandatories. What are your thoughts on that if he was in the running to fight Canelo in the future?
Well, I mean, look, we've made an offer to Billy Joe Saunders, and after his performance, from what I saw, I'm officially cutting that offer in half. So if he wants to fight Canelo, you know, he's more than happy to. But the offer that we put on the table doesn't stand whatsoever. We would be able to, you know, have to renegotiate and come to terms, because look, Canelo's the guy, he's the man, and obviously Billy Joe Saunders didn't make a name for himself in this last fight.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I thought it was longer than that. We're still with Fire Fan, by the way. They got boxing supposed to be rolling out. I first signed up with them before they even launched the app, and basically they signed me up like before boxing came out. It's like, okay, you know, once we get the boxing on there, you know, so I got to start getting all that stuff organized, like the sponsors and all that type of stuff. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. You know, the videos for the most part are easy. You know. But anyway, we covered a lot in this video. We covered a lot. Wait. Oh, this one. My bad. You know, we were looking at Billy Joe Saunders' resume, and now that he's in the mix, you know, Canelo's got a lot of heat on his back right now. He's officially at 160. You know, he can't fight anybody else outside of Golovkin, or fans are going to be pissed. However, he could fight Billy Joe Saunders. He could fight Billy Joe right now, you know, and fans accept it. But then you would have so many, you know, I don't think nothing can stop the Canelo Golovkin rematch. I think it's one of those type of things that if they don't make this rematch, who's going to be to blame? It's going to be Canelo who's to blame. But on Canelo's end, who can he make more money fighting? If Canelo fights Billy Joe Saunders, I think he should go overseas to do it. But however, since Cinco de Mayo in Vegas, they have taken that over, you know, Billy Joe will likely have to come to Vegas. But who would sell more in Vegas, you know, Golovkin or Saunders against Canelo? I think, you know, I think Golovkin would sell more. But people would feel like, yeah, Canelo would make money. Yeah, they would be looking at it like he's going to try to win another title. But the only issue is, it's like, why not Golovkin? You know, he's got 3 belts. Billy Joe's got 1. So Billy Joe is looking at trying to fight Golovkin, you know. But it doesn't, you know, Golovkin can say, well, you know, I chose to pass up Canelo because I want to go after history, you know, to have 4 belts, to say I became undisputed. Then I would fight, you know, Canelo, and then move to 168. You know? But no matter, you can't deny that you want to see Canelo versus Golovkin too, because there's unfinished business right there. It was a draw. In my opinion, Golovkin edged it. You know? How many grams? Let me make sure, man. Get these trannies out of here. People selling stuff. So it was a good fight to end their year, yo. I mean, good fight to end their year, though. Truth be told, no real major boxing until January the 20th. Yeah, there's some scattered events and everything, but nothing major, nothing like, you know, like a major like card, some shit you can stay in the house for. You know, for me, yeah, it's gonna be some work here and there, but you know, I'm focusing on getting my brand organized. You know, I gave myself until the beginning of the year, and we on track. See, we got the channel where we want, right? We're able to watch this stuff, critique it, you know, analyze it. You know, for example, from now on, a fighter can't quit without us being able to go back and watch the tapes. You know, soon I'm going to have somebody operating this stuff so that I don't have to be doing it myself. Yeah, I got a little command center, but soon I'll be like, yo, Julio. And they're saying, pull up the footage. They're saying, he said he fucked up his hand or his shoulder. Let's pull it up, and then we're going to start zooming in on shit. We're going to start zooming in. We're going to start, we already slowing down. I wish I would have had this when the Mayweather, the McGregor-Paulie tapes came out. The little sparring footage. I would have been CSI all over it. CSI Havertown all over it. No. Canelo stopped Sandy. Oh, man. Yo, listen. Billy Joe put on an excellent performance, though. Come on. You can't. Come on. Come on. Billy Joe put on an excellent performance. Yeah, we got a podcast coming too. Like, this is going to be a podcast as well. So I'm still doing like, yo, I'm gonna go to the doctor on Monday, see what the hell bit me. I don't want to turn into Spider-Man or nothing, you know. So you gotta I forgot what I was saying. Well, yeah, we got a podcast starting. You know, thank you guys for joining me. I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live. Please subscribe and follow at FightView 360.